Alright, this is activity 1-9. Hopefully you've done the other ones as well in 1-7, 1-8, in addition to all the others before that. This is the last one in module 1 that has deliverables for the class. So this one's dealing with operation masters roles in a global catalog server. So I'm going to take you through most of it, maybe not all of it, but most of it. So we're going to start off by identifying some stuff, such as the operations masters roles and some of the locations where you can see them or configure them. So we're logged into server SA1 as administrator. I have Active Directory users and computers already open on the top node. We can select operations masters here, and we can see that the red master is the same server we're on. There's an option to change it, which we're not connected to other domain controller, so that wouldn't do any good right now. PDC, again, same server, SA1, infrastructure master. So this is 3 of the 5 operations master roles in Active Directory. So there's those. And then, as you saw, I accidentally clicked the button and it gave an error saying that there was can't change it because there are no other ones. All right. All right, step 5 is just having us right click on the domain again, change domain controller, and then if there was multiple domain controllers in the network, we could select one of them and manage it through that domain controller directly. Can't in this one. So next we're going to open Domains and Trust, which is another Active Directory tool. So Active Directory Domains and Trusts looks similar to Active Directory users and computers, but there's a lot less items in here. Within here we have our domain. If we right click on there, we can go to properties and see all of our levels and everything. Now if we right click on the top there where it says Active Directory Domains and Trusts, then we can choose the operations master option here, and this is the domain naming operations master role, so that's going to be the 4th of the 5 roles. So this role, there's only one server in the network, like most of these roles. So this handles all the unique naming across the domain, and if there was multiple servers, we could choose another one to move the role to. So now that we've looked at the first 4 roles, the 5th one to look at is the Schema Role. And that one, as I mentioned in a prior class, that's kind of one that Microsoft doesn't want people to get in often. They want to make sure that you're getting in there on purpose and you can't accidentally do it since it affects the database schema of Active Directory. So by default, it is disabled to be able to access without running a command line. So your PowerShell or command line, and we run regsvr32 command. So that's going to register a service, the 32-bit. So just for reference, if you go to say services, so that's basically running a service that's disabled by default in Active Directory for the schema management. So reg server svr32 schmmgmt.dll. A DLL is a dynamic link load file, which is like kind of like an executable. So let's make sure schmmgmt.dll. Hit OK on that. So it succeeded. Not a lot to it, but it let us know that it successfully executed. So now we'll run MMC, which is the Microsoft Management Console. There used to be a lot more stuff you'd have to do with this tool in Microsoft Server, but there's not too much anymore. By default, it comes up blank. There's no management consoles loaded. So then we have to open it here, and then we go to File, Add Remove Snap-in. Now we can load almost any administrative command or the control panel tool in here, or the server management tools. Now this is a back doorway. Sometimes you can get in on these tools if the other ones aren't working for some reason, like if server management's not working or control panel administrative features isn't working. You could come in this way a lot of times and get the tools. Sometimes it's just something you have to do. But this is the only way to get to schema management. Oh, so we have to go to Active Directory. Expand this out a little bit. So it says schema 1 here, and then we select what we want. We click Add, then we click OK. And then now we have our Active Directory schema management tool loaded. So like the other tools, we'll right click on here, go to Operations Master. It's showing us that this is the current schema master. Again, with the option change, close. That was it. We don't need the schema management anymore. We don't need to save the console. All right, now that we've looked at the GUI options from the graphical user interface for checking out those roles and the ability to change them if there was multiple domain controllers, let's do it from PowerShell and command line options. So get AD domain. We could tab through or just type it since it was short. So AD domain will give us a list here. So it breaks it down. So as we can see here, we have our infrastructure master, PDC emulator. So it's not showing us every single one in this command. It's only a few of them because we have to do the get AD forest for the rest of them. So we have red. We have red in here as well. So we got 3 of the 5 in here. And then if we do get AD forest, we're going to see the rest of them here, the schema master and then the domain naming master. So in the forest, you'd only have 1 of each of these 2, whereas each domain within the forest, you would have these 3 roles individually, which is why you need both roles or both commands to see all 5 roles. So another way to do this, which is more of an old school way, command line, which I actually prefer because it's simpler, it gives them to you in one place. NetDom query FSMO. So NetDom's a very powerful tool in Windows command line. Query means we're doing a lookup, and FSMO is the file server master operations. Hit enter. Take a minute and query the domain, and when it comes back we'll have a list. So now we have all 5 roles listed in one neat little package showing each domain controller that's listed in there. And this is actually step 15 in the lab, which is where the screenshot should come from. Alright, we're done with the command line here. Alright, so now we want to go to Active Directory Sites and Services. So that opens, there goes first site, default first site. Pretty basic stuff, not a lot in here to do from this part, from properties, but if we expand this out, we can go see our servers. We see our server SA1 is a global catalog server designated by the GC under the DC type. And if we expand that out, we see some more settings here. So it's kind of showing us that it has DNS and everything turned on it. And if we right click on here, go to properties, we can see under this box is tick global catalog. I see no reason to really not have every domain controller be a global catalog, unless maybe it's a read-only domain controller, but for most domains there's no reason not to.